Hey, what is going on everyone? Boylon here for another video on Marvel Strike Force. And in today's video, I want to talk to you all about gold, and maybe training materials too. So whenever I say gold, just assume I'm also kind of doubling it up with training mats, as we'll be talking about gold spending and character levels, and they both kind of go hand in hand. And I know for many, training mats is still a bit of an issue for leveling up a wider roster. Now exactly what am I talking about though? Well, you'll just have to wait and find out. So without further ado, let's get into it. So I want to start off here in the events window where we have the time remaining on the Emma Frost milestone event behind me here, at least as of recording this video. So we're roughly halfway through the event, which was a 28-day event with 2 weeks left to go. Now, as you guys all know, the main way I would say to collect shards for Emma Frost is through gold spending, and this is a very dangerous thing to do I think right now, given that we have patch 4.5 on the horizon with a basically confirmed level 80 and Dark Dimension 4 release. So what does this all mean for gold? And by extension, training mats? Well, it means that you should really start saving if you're not already, rather than doing what we are told we should be doing, and that's to spend gold to get Emma Frost shards. Now I say this because being someone who kind of already has been spending some of the gold in the milestone this time around, but given the interesting timing of when the event ends, it'll be well before anyone probably hits level 76 to be able to double up on the event and spending gold for the new levels. Unless you're a whale and whale out on those energy offers, which will get you XP tons faster. That being said, for most of us, we probably won't be able to take advantage of this event before we hit the next commander level, which typically, I think from recent memory, takes anywhere from 10 days to 2 weeks possibly per level, and therefore I think this milestone is a bit of a trap at an interesting time to frustrate people's gold and training material resources by the time the patch goes live, and by the time really anyone gets level 76, that I think people are going to be really hurting on those two resources if you're not careful. And to illustrate this a little bit more, we're going to take a peek over at my roster where I can provide a few examples of this. Alright, and so we're over here in my roster, and the first thing I want to talk about is Emma Frost again. So we're going to go down to my Emma Frost. She's a bit further down here. So here we are, Emma Frost. So I'm currently sitting at 100 out of 130 shards. So I'm 30 shards away from 5 red, or 5 yellow, and also 5 red. I accidentally bought the 5 red before I realized. I kind of thought she was already 5 for some reason, and she wasn't. I bought it anyways, but... So, we were just talking about the milestone and Emma Frost's milestone. Once I get to 5-star, I plan on completely stopping any gold spending, and I probably won't even do it, to be honest, other than spending in the store, which I still do, you know, for mini uniques, or the mini uniques that I need that aren't farmable, and superior uniques that I think I'm probably going to need going into Gear 15. I'm still doing that, and then I kind of round up, so I kind of min-max the gold spending milestone a little bit to make sure that I kind of round up to the nearest shard kind of thing, but beyond that, I'm not going to be doing what I'm currently doing, which is sort of spending 1.25 million to get those 4 shards, I think it is, daily. Once I get to 130 or 30 more shards, I'm going to stop there. And the reason for that is the reason I just said before. Having a patch 4.5 on the horizon, level 80 and gear tier 15, we're going to need to save as much gold and training materials as we possibly can for not only the new characters coming down the line, which is a whole nother thing I'm going to talk about later on, but also just those 5 extra levels that you're going to need to do for at least your arena team, your raid team, and any of the characters that you might decide to take up for Dark Dimension 4, which inevitably are going to need to be level 80 in order to get that gear tier 15 equipped. So there's a lot of things to consider here in terms of gold. So for me personally, I would recommend you, or whoever's watching this anyways, you know, to round yourself up to the nearest star level for Emma Frost and really stop there. I wouldn't really go too hard on it beyond that. Maybe do a little bit of calculation and see what you can get in terms of the other milestones, the energy spending milestone, which you get roughly 1 a day, and then the World Warrior milestones, which I think was 6 a week, if I'm not mistaken, maybe 7. I kind of forget, to be honest. But, you know, take those into consideration in terms of how many shards you can get without having to spend too much gold, and that might put you a little bit ahead when going into the next patch. So that's all I'm going to say about Emma Frost, but I just want people to be aware of all the things that are coming, and, you know, how much gold that you want to invest in getting shards for her, and whether or not it's going to be worth it for you. I think that if she comes back around, I'm not entirely sure she's coming back for a 3rd pass. I thought she was, but some people were telling me that a 3rd milestone might not happen. But if it, I don't know who's right. If she does come around for a 3rd milestone down the line, you know, I hope it coincides with me leveling up some of my other characters. Otherwise, I'm probably going to skip it again as well, outside of the energy and World Warrior milestone. So all I'm going to say about Emma Frost before we move on here. So to take a look at the gold and training material costs, I did favorite 3 characters here. So I have a character at 65, a character at 70, and a character... I was trying to find someone at level 1. I actually don't have anyone at level 1, so my lowest level character actually is Ravager Stitcher. But to prove my point, we're going to start at Merc Lieutenant here, who's level 65, and I want to show you guys what the cost is to go from 65 to 70. Now, I still have a fair... Actually, I don't actually even have that much training materials if you look at what I have, so I'm going to have to start pulling more of those Kingpin orbs, which I have done in the past in my live streams and stuff, to get extra orange training materials. So even I'm kind of running a bit low. So we look at the cost here to go from just 65 to 70 is about 1.57 million gold, or 1.6 if you want to round up. And then if we go all the way to 75, I can't even do that. Okay, apparently I don't have enough training materials to do that. So I only have about, after upgrading Anti-Venom, it seems like I only have about 2.7 million gold worth of training materials. So I'm going to need to fix that later after this video, and hopefully I can prove my point. Maybe I can't, actually. So it's cost a lot, but let's go back to see if I can double check here on Karnak. So I wanted to show you guys the cost from 70 to 75. I can do that, okay. So it's about almost 2 million gold. So that was 1.67 million to 2 million gold. I think it's about a 20% increase. Now, I don't know if the actual costs have actually been shown, which is to go from 76 to 76 to 80. But if we use this 20% margin and assume that might be the case, maybe a little bit more than that, then we could probably safely assume that maybe 76 to 80 is going to cost in the level of maybe 2.5 million more than this, you know, taking 20% of the 2 million. So, you know, that's a lot of extra gold. Now, I would say that's roughly 500k per level. Now, if you want to consider, I don't know, let's say your arena team, your raid team, which for me are completely different characters because I'm using Black Order for my arena and I'm using symbiotes for my raid team. That's just 10 characters right there. And so every single, I can't do that exactly, but every time that you want to level up a character, let's say you hit level 76 and boom, you want to get that instant upgrade to level 76 for at least your top 10 characters for your arena and raid, you know, that's going to cost you 5 million gold. That's going to be about 500k times 10 per level. And yes, it's going to take about maybe 2 weeks per level, but you do have to keep that in mind. So now we're talking, let's say if there's other characters that you want to level outside of your raid team and your arena team that you're going to be using for Dark Dimension 4, which you do need to get to level 80, and then that's going to cost 500k per level more for each of those characters. So it's going to stack up pretty quickly, and I just wanted to go really, do I even have enough training materials to go? No, I can't. Okay, so I have 2.7 million gold worth of training materials, and I wanted to show how much it actually costs from 45. I think just to get 1 to 45 maybe costs 400k gold. I don't remember exactly. It's not a lot anyway, so I wanted to kind of show you guys how much it costs. So to go from at least 45 to 75, I think based on what we saw before, is going to be somewhere in the level of 4.5 million gold. I think to go straight from 1 to 75 is, I want to say like 5 million gold, or somewhere between 5 and 6 million gold. It's a lot. And so this kind of leads me into sort of what we're going to get in the next patch and new characters. So we have seen already, we've seen Yellow Jacket, the kit for him being released. So we know he's coming out. We kind of safely assume that the other Pimtech characters are going to be coming. And what does this mean for the fact that we're getting level 80, but then also getting new characters up? So I spent a lot of resources getting Anti-Venom up here to level 75. It cost me a lot, like 8 million gold plus however many training materials. As you guys can see, I'm pretty low myself, so I need to fix that pretty soon. Otherwise, I'm in the same issue that I just have been talking about here. And so I don't even have the resources. Let's say if I wanted to level up Yellow Jacket straight to level 75, it doesn't even look like I have enough training materials at the moment to even do that. So this is why I'm kind of trying to warn you guys about this coming to the game. And, you know, again, what happens when this is the level 80 is the new norm? So we're talking about 5 to 6 million gold to go from 1 to 75, and then we're gonna have to tack on another 2 million or so, or sorry, 2.5 million for level 76 to 80. So that'll go to what, 7.5 to 8.5 million just to get one brand new character to level 80. You know, it's a lot of resources in a game where we don't have a lot of gold and training materials lying around to do this, even for players like myself. You know, so I don't know what they plan on doing. They need to bump up what they offer us in terms of gold and training materials a little bit more. There was that double training materials event, the temporary event for 24 hours. That was welcome, but I don't know if that necessarily helped to fix some of the problems that we have in the game relating to gold and training materials. And they need to bring out, now, not too much more, but a little bit more, you know, because obviously if they bring out too much gold, that will upset the balance, I guess, of how fast they want people to level up their characters, you know, especially with a new level cap there. I'm not bothered by that. But the fact that I'm being held back by training materials when I have the gold to do it, because as you guys can see, let's jump back to my, oh, there, actually it was right there. So I do have 10.62 million gold at the moment as I'm talking about this, you know, so I have more than enough gold to level characters up at the time, but I don't have enough training materials to do it. So there is a little bit of an imbalance, and that's unfortunate, and that shouldn't be the case. We shouldn't have multiple bottlenecks for leveling up a character, you know. I actually, you know, ever since I started playing this game, I was a bit surprised that, you know, on top of gold, you also had to use another resource. It just seemed a bit weird to me personally. Why couldn't it have been one or the other? But, you know, it's a bit too late, I think, to change that at this point. But they could provide us a little bit more ways to get training materials. I think that way it's not as much of a bottleneck when gold really should be the bottleneck, I think. So I just wanted to talk about this and touch on it, and, you know, what you guys should be looking forward to in the next little while. I think that we actually should be getting the patch. Just looking at my calendar here, I think we could be getting it as early as Tuesday, which by the recording of this video would be 6 days from now, and if it's not then, it's definitely going to be the week after. But because Anti-Venom's event is coming to a close, I honestly think that we could be seeing this within 5 days even, because once the event ends on Monday, there's really not much, there's nothing going on game-wise, so I think that it is quite likely we could be seeing the patch come Tuesday. And this is why I wanted to talk about this for you guys. You know, save your gold, save your training materials, any of the plans that you might have had right now, you know, maybe consider putting it on hold until the patch goes live, and then maybe reevaluate what your goals are going to be for the game with level 80 coming out, with Dark Dimension 4 coming out. Obviously, this is going to depend on what part of the game you're in. If you're in the early game, if you're in the mid game, if you're in a sort of end game player like myself, and what your specific goals are going to be. But any long-term sort of leveling up and gearing is probably fine, you know, because that doesn't take training materials, but any leveling plans, I would put that on hold until the patch goes live. So I just wanted to bring this quick video to you guys, and it basically serves as a warning, I think. And you know, for me personally, I'm going to be putting any of my plans on hold. I did actually luckily finish most of my leveling plans, as you guys can see. I don't have very many heart characters on this is just for an example for my video, but I'm going to take Swarm to 75 at some point, and Karnak to 71, but beyond that, I don't really think I have any gold spending plans in terms of levels, so that's kind of good. It timed really well for me personally, but yeah, maybe not so much for you guys. So I hope everyone enjoyed the video today, and I hope you guys found it informative, and if you did, please smash that like button down below, and consider subscribing to my channel if you haven't already. And of course, until next time guys, stay safe, and I'll see y'all later. Boylon signing out.